Hello, everyone. On the 20th, there's going to be a Pisces New Moon, which has very strong healing potentials. Now, traditionally, if you look at Pisces, it's not really linked to healing per se. Yeah, it is the last of the signs. It is where the incarnating soul is yearning to go back to the big soul pool, to the eternal soul pool. It wants to leave the earth plane because it's too loud, too much headache, too many problems, too much burden. The workload is too much. So it simply doesn't want to stay here. So it really is more linked to escapism and, of course, transcendental experiences and all sorts of things. And also, of course, drugs and alcohol, which we are not going to look at today because it's not, we don't care. And the new moons themselves are always about new beginnings. And whenever there is a strong new moon with full of potentials, cardinals of fire or anything equipped, which is really pushing you towards this commencement, then we can say that, yeah, we can do all sorts of magical ceremonies in order to really set it off. And this particular one is not like that, but it is conjunct Panacea. Panacea was Asclepius's, one of Asclepius's daughters. All his sons and daughters became healers. And if you look at, for instance, Hygeia, she was the one who didn't actually become a healer herself. She wanted to create sacred spaces. She wanted to teach human beings how to lead a healthy and good life in order to avoid illnesses. And Panacea, on the other hand, the name Panacea means universal remedy. So actually, she was looking for a universal remedy by which you can actually heal anything. And it's interesting because there are such things as universal remedies. So she seemed to have found it. We just don't appreciate it enough. But this particular new moon is really about how to heal, how to find healing energies around you, how to create healing energies in your environment. So let's take a look at the London chart. So the new moon is going to commence on February the 20th at 7:06 a.m. London time. And as you can see, we have a Pisces rising with the sun and the moon exactly on the ascendant and Saturn just behind them. So this is it. And so it's a very, very strong placement. It really is a strong placement. It suggests that the sun and moon and Panacea is at your disposal, backed by Saturn. Really, this is not a blocking conjunction. This is a supporting conjunction with Saturn. And it means that whatever you set off to do, whatever you commence, whatever you decide with this particular new moon will be backed by some very strong force that is helping you to achieve it. There's also a Neptune dark moon Lilith conjunction in Pisces, and this is the second turning point of the Lilith myth, when Lilith leaves the Garden of Eden and accepts the curse of Yahweh. She doesn't care even if she's going to be cursed. She's not going to remain in a compromising, degrading situation. So she's leaving. And whenever the dark moon is prominent in a chart, it suggests that the native is able to do that. Very often, these are the women who are just stepping out of a relationship and leaving everything behind, not caring how much work or how much wealth they created within the relationship. They just walk away from it. And with Neptune, of course, it is infused with some idealistic or sacrificial energy. As you can see, the Vesta Astrea conjunction is still very tight. If you are interested in what the Vesta Astrea means and how it is going to unfold in this year, 2023, you can go and take a look at my video, the previous one, which is karma breaking, destiny changing. That's about it's about this conjunction. There's also the Jupiter Chiron applying conjunction, so this is going to be quite tight soon. And you have Mars on the London chart, I see, showing that in the past or in your roots or in your home or family, there will be some sort of strife, some sort of fighting. Let's put it this way. I don't really want to use this word, but what can we do? That's what it means. And the vertex on the asteroid Lilith. And asteroid Lilith is the revolt against injustice. So it's the first turning point of the Lilith myths. Suggesting that if you revolt against injustice, and I know that a lot of my friends are constantly going on demonstrations and things like that, please be careful in London during these days, because something may occur to you that you can't avoid, because the vertex is the point which means unavoidable or ungovernable situations. Here's the complex planetary picture of this particular space-time moment at 5-6 degrees, which has the most emphasis. There is a karmic cage involving the nodes and the black moon. It's an exact karmic cage. Karmic cages usually denote things, ideas when I need to pay attention to my chosen destiny by kind of leaving behind or understanding consciously what I instinctually do when I'm cornered or threatened, south node. But you need to move forward to the north node because that is your destiny. And with the black moon, which is the third turning point of the Lilith myths, and it's so funny because I looked at the, I might or might not make a full video on the placements of the 22nd, because on the 22nd after sunset, you will see the moon, the crescent moon. Actually, it's the new moon crescent with Jupiter and Venus on the western horizon. But the space-time moment shows the Liliths are quite prominent there. So I might do it. I'm teaching both days on the weekend, so I don't know how much time I will have, but I will try. Anyhow, so this is a karmic cage involving black moon Lilith, which shows that I need to be strong. I need to have stamina, determination, and honor and courage in order to do this shift from the old known, unconsciously or subconsciously or instinctually worked energies towards the new chosen destinies. So it always takes courage, but this moment suggests it. And there's also a fixed fire engine involving the south node, the black moon, and the Vesta Astrea conjunction. And fixed fire is like an oven and something you can actually build something. The south node is what you already know. The black moon Lilith is what you have decided to do no matter what. And the Vesta Astrea is focusing on karma breaking. And there's also a bow, if you pay attention to this little configuration here, involving the nodes, the nodal axis, and the Ceres opposite Vesta Astrea, like this. And there is no boomerang. There should be a boomerang, but it's unfortunately there's no boomerang because I put here trans Pluto, but it's not closing, it's more than like 3 degrees apart. So it's not happening, unfortunately, but the bow is moving with lots of karmic energies, because the oppositions are framed by the karmic aspects, the semi-sextile and the quincunx. Okay, what else is here? The transcendental objects, of course, which we are always looking at. And on the North Node, you have Hannibal, and sorry, not Hannibal, that's on the Eastern side. On the North Node, you have Hermes and Memphis. Memphis is a power, a power place. It's the seat of power in ancient Egypt. And Hermes is the god of not just astrology, but also alchemy and magic. So you can actually do something in order, you can do any sort of magical act in order to utilize the commencement energies of the new moon. On the South Node, you have Narcissus, personal love that you feel for yourself, and self-nurturing as well. And let me tell you that if you don't learn to love yourself, no one will love you. And if you look at nowadays, social justice warriors who are usually feminine, we just had a horrible thing in Hungary. Antifa appeared in Hungary and started to beat up really badly. Total strangers, just because they didn't like how the person dressed. These were totally innocent people. They just wore either a military outfit or something. They just didn't like these people, and they beat them up. They came from Germany, and I blush to say that yes, there were some Hungarian helpers as well. This is totally unacceptable, and that's exactly what happens when you don't love yourself. Then you're trying to find a cause in order to love it or to worship it, just like a religion. It's much better if you learn how to love yourself. Please learn to love yourself. And that is helped by Narcissus. And you can go back and tap into the reservoirs of past lives, South Node. And Radamanthus, who was Crite's king. He was the son of Europe, and Zeus, and he became a very good king and a very honest and lawful king, who actually produced a couple of really wise rules and laws. And this is after the Minotaur story. So Crete got almost completely destroyed by this story, and he set off a new era. And so Radamanthus denotes the ability to judge things in a nice and honest way. And then on Ceres, you have Selene, the moon goddess, Osiris, the god of the underworld, and Raifonos. And Raifonos is originally one of the sprites, the nature sprites, who is chosen. All these 12 sprites were chosen by Zeus to guard Heracles's crib, to avoid the wrath of Hera. And Raifonos turned himself into a centaur, because he thought that in a centaur body he will be able to do the task much better. So it means complete transformation, physical and mental and emotional transformation, for the sake of a sacred duty that you accept. So it's quite powerful, I think, on Ceres, the nurturing principle. On Astrea, you have still Hannibal, Asclepius, and Themis. This has been there for quite a while. So you have the healing property again. You also have the general who was able to cross the Alps, and Themis, who was the mother of the Horas. And then on Black Moon Lilith, you have Varuna and Altarf, the only fixed star that is relevant in this configuration. And Varuna in karmic, first of all, it is a Vedic god. It used to be a creator god, and then it became the god of waters, all kinds of waters. And in karmic astrology, it has a very funny role because it denotes queen karma. And you will understand in 2 seconds what it means. Whenever a king or a ruler or a nobleman had an extramarital situation and a child was born, that child was a bastard. It couldn't inherit, it couldn't become the king, it was a bastard. But the queen always delivered an heir. And that's what I call queen karma, when I need to produce the heir no matter what. And Altarf is beta Cancer, and it's not a particularly bright star. And also it's interesting because Altarf means the stair or the or sight even it's an Arabic word. And in old times, they usually they depicted the constellation as a crab. And this was either one of its eyes or one of its claws. But this particular, I didn't find any. This particular drawing shows that it's one of its feet. But actually, the name is Altarf, means the stair. And this star is linked to magic again. It has magical properties. There's also another couple of things. You see an anaretic harmony triangle with Pluto, Venus, and Sedna. The Pluto-Sedna trine is still very strong. It's still at the very end of Capricorn and Taurus, so it is an Earth trine, one of the best of the trines. Venus at the very, very end of Pisces is at the apex of this harmony triangle, which can be described that if you want to create harmony, you need to completely redo any non-working structure in your life. The problem is that this is an anaretic configuration, and it means everything gets stalled, everything gets, it's kind of hung in a way. There's also a fixed anaretic T-square involving the ascendant, descendant, with Saturn, of course, and Sedna in Taurus. And this is highlighted by the moon. The moon is the sun moon, the new moon is already in Pisces, so it's highlighting it kind of backwards in it. There's also a boomerang, and also highlighted by the moon. It's the ascendant, descendant. On the ascendant, there's Saturn from the 12th, but still there. And of course, the Venus-Pluto sextile. And you have also a fixed Earth engine involving Pluto, Sedna, and the descendant. So those are the anaretic configurations. And if you look at the transcendental objects, let's take them apart. On the sun moon, you have not only Panacea, which is universal healing, but also Anif, which is Epsilon Pegasus. We haven't seen Pegasus, this particular Pegasus yet. And here is Anif. So it's the mouth of the flying horse. If it can talk, this is how he talks and tells us things. And of course, this is Sheat, Beta Pegasus, which is the healing word for suicide victims still. And on Venus, you have Zoser, the pharaoh who was building pyramids, Borasisi, who is a protagonist in the religion described in Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. And he's this usurper. He's this angry ruler who makes life very hard for everyone. So it's usually it is linked to such karma. And of course, Sheat, and we talked about Sheat many times. On the ascendant, you have, and Saturn, of course, you have Tach and Nephthys. We spoke about those a couple of times already because that's Saturn is not moving too far. And then Krantor, which means it's a centaur, and it means to be at the wrong time, at the wrong place. That is another indication to please take it easy in the next couple of days. Don't rush out. Don't demonstrate unless it is absolutely necessary. This is not the right time to be at the wrong time, at the wrong place, because you might get hurt. In London, this is for London. On the descendant, you have Plato, a philosopher, Sila Nunam, a centaur. Actually, it's a TNO, and it's Sila Nunam represents the earth and the sky, and it represents creation on all levels. So it's a powerful creation energy. And Regulus, which is Alpha Leo, it's actually a bit wide for my taste because Regulus is already at 0 degrees Virgo. But Regulus is one of the most important stars in the sky, so I just put it there because it is linked to ruling and reign and sovereignty. And then Pluto still has Orius and Amicus. Orius is the centaur that is linked to mitigated punishment. That's what you see all across the board, really. It's so ridiculous that there are some animals are more equal than the others. That's you see it all everywhere, really. And then Amicus is still the centaur which mixes up the profane with the sacred because it doesn't care for the candelabra being taken from a sanctuary. He starts using it as a weapon. And then on Sedna, you have Ascalaphus and the Pleiades. The Pleiades will be there not just this year, but next year as well. So I will keep repeating this, that Sedna is aligned with the Pleiades, which is the home of the creator goddess in transcendental karmic astrology. And Ascalaphus was the gardener or the keeper of the gardens of Hades, so the underworld gardens. It is where Persephone eats her pomegranate seeds, and that is why she can't go back to the upper world, to her mother for the full time of the year. And so Ascalaphus is being punished, or she only tries to punish, I think she finally can't. But anyhow, so she's being punished by Demeter, the mother of Persephone. So those are the transcendental celestial objects. And here you see Regulus, it's the heart of the celestial lion. And here you see Anif, which is the mouth of the celestial flying horse, winged horse. So that's the new moon. As I said, it has very strong healing properties. The London chart particularly has some threats. And try to avoid crowds, try to avoid dangerous situations, and don't play with fire because some placements are not very reassuring. Try to do inner work, try to concentrate on your own healing properties, and try to concentrate on anything that needs to let go. Pisces is big on letting go, and also big on transcending stuff that is no longer serving you. Happy new moon. Thank you for listening.